Right, so I'm going to do an unboxing of the Asus ZenFone 6. And those amongst you who have been around the smartphone world for a while may already know that there's actually been a ZenFone 6 a few years ago, but this is the one that's coming out in May 2019. And the model I've got here is actually the 6GB version, so 6 gig of memory, 128 gig of storage. But let me show you why that really shouldn't be much of a concern. Now, there's going to be a 6 gig memory model which has 64 gig of storage, a 6 gig memory model with 128 gigs of storage, and then there's going to be an 8GB memory model as well. You can go onto Coolsmartphone. I've done a big story about all this and basically which models are available. The 8 gig version, by the way, has got 256 gig of storage. The price is 6 gig model with 64 gig of storage is €499. The next one up with the 128 gig of storage is $559, and then you've got the 8 gig model with the 256 gig of storage for $599. Now, it comes with it's probably the thickest manual I have seen for quite some time. You can see here, in search of incredible, and you can see it's in various different languages, but usually we're not going to bother with that anyway. The phone is in here, which I've taken out. We also have in the box the adapter, which here in Spain is the European one. We've got the 3.5mm headset, because this phone does still have what we call the Courage port, the 3.5mm audio port, and it's got USB-C charging, which is that cable there. You've also got replacement earbuds for swapping out your headset when they get all sort of waxy and horrible, and also for better fit. Now, the ZenFone 6 does also come with a case, and you will notice from the design of the case, I'll just take out these little bits of paper. There's a warranty card here as well, which you should fill in. But this is a case. It's a hard plastic see-through case, and you can see here the gap for that camera, and more on that camera in a moment. There's the fingerprint sensor, which just sits in a nice position, and that fits snugly on the phone. The phone, let's show you the phone. Here's the phone itself. And what I'll show you first of all, and this isn't something I normally do on unboxing videos, but you get this little SIM tray tool. I'm going to pop that in there. I'm going to show you the SIM tray, because this is why you shouldn't really be too bothered on which model you get, because the 6GB memory version, even the bottom end 499 version with 64 gig of storage, comes with this tray. So you've got a micro SD slot, and you've got 2 slots for your SIM card. So you can have 2 SIMs, and you can have a micro SD. So you can slap in a 256GB micro SD if you wish, and you can boost your memory up, add the 256 to the 64 internal, and that's going to keep you going for quite some time. The phone itself then, and I'm sure you can see for yourself here. Let's turn it on. There's the lovely, let's move some of this gubbins out of the way. It doesn't look too good on the shot, do we? We'll just put this on, and of course I don't really want to put cases on, nobody does, but you have to, and you can see here that on the side that goes around the buttons quite nicely, leaves it open, and on the back it fits around the camera, and on the sides and on the bottom here, so it fits quite snugly. The phone itself, so the specs then, it weighs around 190 grams, which is not bad. That front screen, as I fight it, come on case, look, it looks, I don't want to snap it off, I'll be quite careful here. It's a 6.4-inch screen, so that's a very sizable screen, which is 1080 by 2340, and it's a 19.5 by 9 ratio screen with a 403 ppi density. It's running Android 9, and it's got the Zen UI, or however you want to pronounce it. And it's got that Qualcomm Snapdragon CPU, the 855, which has been mentioned quite a bit during the launch. It's a very powerful processor. It also has a lot of efficiency bits on it, so that your battery lasts a little bit longer as well. So you can see all about the device here. Let me see if I can find some more details. support section there. What is it? System, about phone. There we go. So you can see it's Android version 9 on here. And the hardware version, this is a 6 GB version that I have here. The CPU goes up to 2.8 GHz, and it's that Qualcomm Snapdragon 855 that I mentioned. That's an octa-core processor. So you get one running at 2.84 GHz to be precise, and then you get 3 running at 2.41, and then 4 running at 1.78. It basically means that it can slow down when it's just running day-to-day operations and use less of your battery. It's got that micro SD card slot, which actually goes up to 1 TB. If you've got a 1 TB card, you can put that in. It's got now the cameras. Let's go on about the cameras already, shall we? Let's show you the camera in action, because that's what this phone is probably being sold. Well, this is what this phone is going to be known for. You can see here, my concern initially was that this motor here has a small gap at the top, and I'm worried that stuff might get jammed in. You can see here, if I put this sort of down there, you can see that I can slide things into the section at the top. But they have tested it heavily. They did show us a video in which a child was given the phone and they jammed all sorts of stuff into this motor, and it still carried on. Now what you need to do to initiate it, you go into selfie mode as you normally would, and look at that, it pops up. I'm going to try and do that a bit slower for you, because it goes away and then it comes back again. Let's just turn the camera back on. Like that, up and down. And you can see here, hopefully this light is not very good in this room that I'm in now, but I'm going to try and show you how it does this sort of soft close. And you see how it slows down there towards the end of its movement. And again, let's do that one more time. As it goes, it moves up and then slows down. One more time. And what you can also do, let's get it really close. Hopefully you can see this really close up. See how that moves? That goes back in there. Now, what you can also do is press and hold. I'm pressing and holding this now, like that, and you move it up and down, and that means that you can move the lens to your own desired angle. That means you can sit it at a 90-degree angle, if you wish. Apologies for the terrible focus here. So then you can have it like that, which means that I can now, look, I'm showing you the room in front of me here. That's there, look. So it's a new way. I mean, you will be taking more portrait style photographs, unfortunately, because it doesn't work too well like that. But it does mean I am literally, let's say I'm sitting on a bus, the person in front of me is I'm going to be able to see them straight there. Good and bad in that, obviously it means that you'll be able to snoop on people a bit easier, but it also, they're going to be able to see exactly what you're doing, because that is going to be flapped down. As you can see here, I can waggle this and force it and do it manually, which is terrible really. Look, I can actually just move it with my finger, and it doesn't seem to moan too much about that. I can switch from the normal lens, because there's 2 lenses on here. There's a 48, oh hello, come back you. Come back. You can see how, let's just show you how it sits there. It does relocate quite snugly into the case. It has a 48 megapixel standard camera, which is from Sony, I believe, the Sony lens, and that's got a 13 megapixel wide angle lens next to it, and you can switch between the two. It's got a dual LED flash, which is in the middle there. It's got HDR, which works quite well. I've taken lots of example photographs this morning, which I'll be showing on Coolsmartphone shortly. So let's just, I'm gonna push it back. I really shouldn't be doing this, but there you go. It's down, and I can try and pull it out again. It is, I mean, it just pop out. And on the video, the child was jamming things in here like a screwdriver and trying to pull it out. But that's now locked back into position. On the bottom here, so we've got stereo speakers. And we've got that 3.5mm audio jack. Yes, good to see that. The USB-C charging port on the bottom. Nice rounded edge. And you've got active noise cancellation with the dedicated microphone up the top. You got Wi-Fi, dual band Wi-Fi. You got Bluetooth version 5. You got GPS, dual band, and you got NFC for payments. I love the back of this. This light is not showing it very well, but I have taken some great shots which show just how this reacts in the daylight. And it bounces the light off this rear panel. The rear panel looks lovely, and I guess that's why they've given you a see-through case instead of a non-see-through case. What else do we have? Fingerprint sensor on the back here. It's got fast charging. It's got a 5,000 milliamp hour battery, so expect it to last for quite some time with that Qualcomm processor as well. Give you a quick tour around the GUI here. This particular version I've got here is a demo model, and as you can see, there's no bloatware on there at all. Scoot down, you can see all the apps that I can put on there. I've got the Asus data transfer, which is on there, but that's about it. There's not a great deal of Asus faff on there. Instagram, Google, every Google app on there that you can want. We've got Chrome here, which is, you know, fairly standard. The screen looks very good. It's not the most stunning screen I've ever seen, but it's working. You know, it is completely uninterrupted because we have no notch on here. It is a very large screen. I'll just load the site and we'll see how that looks on here. Come on, let's see if this hotel Wi-Fi is going to play the game. So there we go, you can see the site, and we can see the photos that we took last night. So I'm filming this the day after the launch. So you can see here, there's a quick charge version 4, and it lasts up to 2 days, which is what you would sort of expect and hope for, really, in a phone. The Wi-Fi is really not that brilliant here. So you can see it works very well. Chrome works all right. The camera has a load of filters on here as well. You can do portrait, and you can do the depth alteration here. You just faff around with the depth alteration. Let's just go back onto that portrait, and I press this here, and you can adjust the depth and fiddle about with that. You can put a load of filters on the photo here. You switch up to the colors, and you can add a range of filters. I've taken some photos with these on. You can see that's the normal lens, and then that's the wide angle lens. So you can see how that differs. You've got tracking, so if you're maybe videoing some football or something of that nature, you can track and focus, keep focused. You've got slow-mo, a time-lapse, you have a panoramic as well, a night mode, and a professional mode too. What I've found about that camera actually is a refresh rate on it is very good indeed. This movement here, very quick, and it glides along. Now I've got it on the 16:9, and when I took it out of the box it was on the 4:3 sort of square mode for taking photos. The resolution obviously changes, so you can see here on 4:3 you get 12 megapixel. You can switch it up to 48 megapixel, which is what should be by default in my head, but you don't get the same level of zoom if you put it on 48 megapixel, but so we leave it back on 12. If you switch it to 16:9 it goes down to 9 megapixel, and I'm going to put loads of shots on here. You can turn on the Asus watermark if you wish. Let's see if you can see all the bits on there. But the timestamp, you've got the AI scene detection, which is something the Qualcomm processor does, I believe the 855, so it adjusts the scene and adjusts all the camera settings so it looks as good as possible. We've got the flip camera sound. You can choose to have let's have a noise. Ooh. Okay, so let's just try that. So if I choose the flip camera now, it will make a noise. Wow, look at that. quite cool actually. Little things please my brain. And that's about it really. It's a nice fast phone, lovely and quick. Obviously I've only played with it for a day, so we're going to have to use it a lot more than that to get a full idea on what this phone is like. But it's lightweight, it's been tested, it's relatively cheap. At the moment I can't see it being ranged in any of the UK operators, but you can purchase this direct from the website, from the Asus eShop. So that's a look at this, the Asus ZenFone 6.